doing that's keeping her from being able to leave? So first of all, if you look kind of generally at our society, we put a lot of pressure on women to be in relationship. You know, you don't have the same status if you don't have a boyfriend, or a husband. And if you are in that relationship, everyone's so happy for you, it's hard to tell people, well, it's actually not going so well. And of course, at the beginning, it does go well. You know, he doesn't go on the first date and start hitting her. She wouldn't go out with him again. So, it starts really subtly over time. What we know about abuse is that abusers can control it because they don't do it to other people. They just do it to their partner. So if they're, victimizing this one person, but they can go to work and not yell at everybody, then they're choosing to abuse. And so they are able to do it really slowly and subtly. And so by the time it starts to rev up, he's isolated her from her friends. He's isolated her from her family. He may be taking care of her by paying for everything. She may not have to work. She may have children with him. So all these things add up to make it more difficult to leave. And because, we expect people to, be in relationships, and if he's, having trouble, if he blames his abuse on something else, like drinking or his problems when he was a kid, or women are kind of taught to nurture, and she'll want to fix him. And so because she will feel like she failed in the relationship if she's not able to, quote, fix him, she will stay longer trying to do that, especially because he doesn't abuse all the time. And so you're always trying to get back to that time when things are really good.
And I think it's also important to note that she may not want to leave. It may not always be her choice that she wants to leave. And I think it's important for us as a community and as support systems to meet her where she's at and not judge her for not leaving, but instead work with her and support her during that time to make sure that she is safe.
Well, one of the things that I've also recognized in relationships is it's 50-50. There are men that are being abused too. Now, we rarely talk about that because we know men have the strength needed. But there are some men that chooses not to fight. So we don't want it to look like it's all just the women that are victims. There are men, there are children also that are victims, that the mate doesn't even touch the wife, or, the husband, they touch the children. So if you ladies can give names or websites or phone numbers or places, because if kids, if you're being abused and your mother or your father, by your mother or your father, or they won't help you when you tell people that you're being abused, then you need to reach out to someone. You need to be able to talk to someone. We need to be able to give you the support you need in order to say, hey, I need help. So do you all have a number?
Well, there are a few things I can think of. One is that, in homes where where a parent is being abused, about 50 to 70% chance that the kids are also being abused. And what we really want people to think about is if you help that child and don't think about the person who's being abused, the adult, you could really endanger that person. And so trying to come up with a plan that will help both the adult and the child to be safe is really important. So a lot of people will be like, well, just call DFACS. And and most people who do that, they're mandated reporters and they need to do that, but there are ways to do that to take the safety of the victim parent into consideration. What we say for kids is if you are witnessing violence or you're experiencing violence, go talk to someone you trust. That's the best thing you can do. It could be someone at school. It could be the principal. It could be your gym teacher. It doesn't matter. It could be the lunch lady. It could be someone at your religious organization. An adult who you feel will support you and listen to you and believe you. Maybe it's an aunt. Somebody out there. And because it's not really the child's job to figure out how to get out of this. It's the adults around who should help.
What I was thinking of is those who parents know, or what I mean by that is like a partner comes in and the mother knows that the child is being abused, and she is not the support he needs, which is why I was suggesting that there might be other places, because And just not so long ago, a little girl was killed by a stepdad, and the mother was aware. Yeah. And we're seeing a lot of this now, where a partner will come into the household and take over, and the mother or the father will just literally turn their back because they don't want to be alone.
Right.
And better the child, I'm sad to say, better the child than them, or for whatever reason they just chose to ignore. So we want the children to understand that there are places, and we do care. And if you want to call in, then we can give numbers, or we will find numbers or websites to help. But everyone that's in an abusive relationship need to get help. It is a sickness is what I want to call it, from my personal experience. When a person hits you out of anger or out of enjoyment or because they can, and they will continue this cycle, and it will get worse. It is homicide, it's murder, whatever you want it to be. It will become this in the end. It has no choice. The ending will always be bad, no matter what you want to believe. So please, if you are in an abusive relationship, then I ask, or we beg, that you get help and that you get counseling, or you find a shelter at home or a center that will give you the help you need, or help you find a place safe for you.
And also, I just want us to also put a broader face to domestic violence, because it's not only does it encompass physical violence, but it can also encompass spiritual,
verbal.
Yeah, spiritual, verbal, emotional, just a plethora of things. It's not just the hitting. And also, it's not just an adult issue. There are teenagers that are also experiencing teen dating violence. So there are organizations such as breakthecycle.org, seedandstopit.org. All of these resources are available for teenagers who are experiencing dating violence currently.
Okay,
and the hotline that Kim gave out earlier, 1-800-33-HAVEN, is the statewide domestic violence hotline. You don't have to want to go to a shelter to talk to someone on that hotline to get some advice. So that mom who's feeling confused about, well, I love this guy, but he's hurting my kid, and I don't know what to do. That's what they're there for. They're there to talk to her.
Right. And let me ask you something. Why is it that some women find themselves in a pattern of dating or marrying abusive or predatory men? I know that question probably has a lot of dynamics, but are there some, so you can touch the surface with that?
I don't think that it's very specific as to why. It may just be that they have not received, help in processing their experiences and going through those things. I don't think there's a specific.
We get a lot of mixed signals about what we should put up with and what's okay in a relationship. No one, we have math class and we have English class,
right.
But we don't have relationship class.
Right.
And so, as you grow up and you're, starting to date and you're in these relationships in your young 20s, you're making it up as you go along. And all those pressures that we were talking about earlier about being in a couple and making it work come into play. So, if nobody ever teaches you what a healthy relationship looks like, then when these things happen, they don't seem any different to you. So why would you protest? Why would you not do that? Also, men who abuse, or people who abuse, do it over and over and over and over again. And so in every relationship they go to, they bring that abuse. So actually, we know many, many women who've never experienced abuse, who grew up in very happy households, who find themselves in abusive relationships as well, because it's really not about her actions, it's about his.
It's also important to note that there are those, particularly with childhood witness survivors, that are resilient children that do not repeat the cycle. It's important that we know that it's not always the case where the cycle will continue through a child who has witnessed domestic violence, that there are those children who are able to continue to go on and be very successful in life and not repeat those same behaviors. It highly involves the support systems that they have around them. Those are very important, and that's why it's very important for us as community members, family, what have you, to support these individuals as they are in these situations.
Well, being a victim myself, I've always wondered why